congratulations on this brand new EP. I've taken a listen to it and I absolutely love it. So congratulations.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this EP. Was there a goal in mind that you had when you first sat down to work on this EP?
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so to give you a background story, okay, in 2018, okay, I started the project with Dominic and Brown, okay, and I was looking for a little bit of black metal, like in the old times from Cradle of Filth, like a little bit of Gothic mixed. As soon as the album got released, okay, I was searching for a more aggressive tone, okay, and I was at that time in 2018, near the Christmas, I was actually listening to a lot of Flash God Apocalypse and Septic Flesh, okay, and I was like, whoa, these bands, the sound, the wall of sound, it's fantastic, and the production, okay. And I wanted to take a different approach to the Caedeous project, okay? So I picked up the guitars and the piano and the drums, and I started to make a more aggressive sound in terms of speed and also in terms of album tonality, okay? Also the production, okay? I wanted to be a modern metal because the production on Dominic and Brown was a little bit like old school garage tapes, you know, recorded. And the sound was a little bit like old school. And this one I really wanted to take into a professional direction to the modern days, okay? So that was my main addition to this new EP, the songs, okay? And in my opinion, okay, I think that it's very dark. It's very speedy and dark, okay? It definitely sets the tone to the next albums that will eventually come. Okay, yeah.
Definitely. And your first album did so well. People put it into the top 20 list of albums for that year. Did you feel pressure working on this EP because the first album had done so well?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that came to my mind was, whoa, okay. So I'm taking the project into another direction, and people loved so much Dominic and Brown, and it was a big hit in some songs, you know, in the magazines. It had excellent reviews, okay, really good notes, like 9 out of 10. Even some magazines gave it 10 out of 10. Even 2 magazines elected it as one of the best black metal albums of the year. And when I was doing this album, you know, I did so many crazy ideas. And in terms of composing, I love to do some avant-garde feeling to the songs. I like to innovate, okay? I don't like to do the same thing that other bands are currently doing. So it was a little bit of pressure, but I was a little bit afraid of how people would be reacting to this new album, okay? Because it was a little different from the first one. And when I was speaking with David Polito from The Metalists, I was like, okay, let's see how this goes, because I'm a little bit scared of how people will actually react. And the first single, Obscurus Perpetua, it was released back in October. Okay, I was trying to get some feedback if something needed to be improved. Okay, in the album. It was released on Symphonic Black Metal Promotion YouTube channel, and I was a little bit more comfortable because I was receiving a lot of comments and people actually opening chats in Facebook and actually telling, "Well, Paulo, this is great. It's different, but it sounds fantastic." And I was like, "Whew, okay, it worked well." Yeah, it was a little bit of pressure. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Definitely.
You also had DM come on board for vocals. Tell us a little bit about how you met DM and how you knew that they were the right person to come on board the project and provide vocals for you.
Okay, so on the first album, okay, I had a female vocalist that did both the growling sections and the operatic soprano. Okay, as soon as the album ended, I knew on the new direction that I wanted a male vocal. Okay, I wanted to have that big, strong voice on it. I was a big fan of, and I am a big fan of Dimmu Borgir. I love Shagraf's voice. I wanted a similar approach to that to now. And back then, in 2019, the first time the album of Caedeous, okay, which is the main band of Thomas, and I was really impressed with his vocals. Okay, I was really like, oh my god, this is something that I want someone to work with, because I loved his touch in the vocals. And what happened was, I was actually trying to reach out Thomas to see if he was available to hire as a session vocalist for Obscurus Perpetua. And eventually, I found him on Fiverr, okay, which is a platform that people offer services. And I contacted DM through Fiverr and, hey, Thomas, are you interested in doing this project? It was like, yeah, most definitely. I sent him the first album songs. He was really impressed by how it sounded without any kind of vocals, just in the instrumental parts. And he asked me, Paulo, what do you want to do in terms of vocals? And I told him, well, I'm looking like something between Flash God Apocalypse and something like Dimmu Borgir, the new album, the latest 3 albums of Dimmu Borgir. And he was like, yeah, I can do that, definitely. And I told him, because when I work with some musicians or vocalists, I don't like them to feel pressured, like, you have to do this specifically, okay? I gave them, all of them, creative freedom to experiment on the song. And Thomas recorded the first song, which was Obscurus Perpetua, that we have worked together. And when he sent me the raw vocals for me to mix and master here in the studio, I was like, whoa, Thomas just took the song to another level. On that specific theme, he picked up the lyrics that I wrote, and he gave the vocals 4 layers of vocals, like the growling section, like the big section. He gave that respite tone vocals that Shagraf usually does on the albums, and a little bit of Danny Filth, a little bit. And he did some drone vocals, like putting in the chorus parts of the sections, like Obscurus Perpetua, like even on Tormentis Aeterna, he did like Tormentis Aeterna, like it was a big choral part. It worked amazingly well. I was so impressed with his vocal. He's very talented. Afterwards, we start working on the next songs, and I told him, well, I already have a video clip for this, official music video, and he was like, whoa, this is going so fast, he told me. I was like, yeah. I had this ready for the last 3 years, and I was trying to envision how it would go eventually. And eventually we start speaking more, and he received it from me on the last 3 weeks ago. He received an official invitation so he can join, not as a session vocalist, but as an official vocalist of the project. The teamwork was so beautiful done that I want to keep him as a vocalist. It does not make sense to pick up another vocalist for the next album, And since I'm already working on the 3rd album, the follow-up to Obscurus Perpetua, we will start working in the next months on the vocals for it as well. Okay, for 2023. Yeah, that was it. It was quite an interesting story, actually.
Yeah, really interesting. And the change in sound on this EP, did that change the way you went about approaching each track and writing each track as well?
Yeah, definitely. The first track that I wrote for this album was Tormentis Aeterna, the first song after the intro. And I always compose the songs in piano. Okay, it's the first layer that I actually do. And I did some crazy stuff, like really crazy in terms of piano arpeggios and really heavy stuff like rhythm stuff, and then I added a little bit of melody, crazy melody and creepy melody to the song. And as soon as I did the first song, I knew that I wanted to shift the tone in every single track of the album because I wanted to tell a background story. Okay, so I sat down for a little bit and I wrote a story about demons and angels. Okay, the Nephilim. How a little bit of biblical proportions, taking a little bit to the religious part of stories like Sodom and Gomorrah, where the society fell down in corruption and sinful ways. And I wanted to approach each song with a specific tone, okay? Like a little bit of melody there, a little bit of less melody there, to actually give emotion to the album. Okay, I even went to some length in some songs like Sodom and Gomorrah, which is the 7th track of the album. I added a little bit of Arabic, little Middle Eastern type of sounds like the desert tunes, so it could have a feeling of the city itself in the middle of the desert back then, like Babylonian, etc. in Sodom and Gomorrah, and I think it did a little good job. Having a story to follow gives me a feeling of belonging and to follow a specific tone to the album. Okay, that was it basically.
Definitely. Now, we've all been in a pandemic over the last 2 years, in and out of lockdowns and lots of restrictions. Did that put any pressure on you recording the album? Like, did the restrictions or the lockdowns change the way you went about recording the album?
Yeah. It did. Especially because I have some lung issues. I have a little bit of health issues with me, and I am in a risk group to COVID. Okay?
Yep.
So as soon as the lockdown began in 2019, I was a little bit. I was locked in my house, I think, and in the studio for a little bit of 1 year and a half without going to the street. Because there was no vaccination, and my doctor said, well, you should not really get COVID because you can die about it. And I was a little bit so scared about it that I lost my ability to actually write songs, to record songs, because I was so focused, like in the virus, that I lost the ability to do something. But I've picked up the track, the pacing, okay. And in 2020, being in the pandemic and not being able to go to the street and get distracted by other stuff that we usually do, go to the coffee, get out with some friends at evenings or afternoons and weekends, it gave me total time in my hands to actually build the sound that we can listen to in Obscurus Perpetua, okay? So it was a really big plus factor, okay?
Yep.
And it also enabled me to think, okay, I've done this album, what can I do for the next album? So I started composing a little bit of ideas, and they're already structured for the next album, okay? So it was a little bit good and bad, but yeah, it helped me a lot, okay? This pandemic helped me a lot. And I think that even Thomas, that I spoke with him about this issue, COVID, because I was speaking with him some time ago. At the moment, Caedeous is basically me as the main composer and all the instruments. I've got Thomas and I've got Josephine as the female soprano vocals. We all live in different countries. Okay, I'm from Portugal. Thomas is from France, and Josephine is from Italy. And I've got the session drummer in Canada. Okay, and I've got some people that will be playing if Caedeous evolves to live events, live concerts. Okay,
yeah.
They live in the States. Okay, so due to my background as I work as a composer, so I was speaking with them. We need to be really careful about how the project evolves. Okay, I have high expectations for this project, as I had in 2018 as well. But due to the pandemic, we need to have a different approach because I don't want us, because I'm doing a lot of money investment, okay, for the project to move forward, and I don't want, for example, for us to schedule for like a venue, like, I don't know, imagine imagine we schedule a venue for Melbourne or Perth, in Australia.
Yep.
Suddenly, because of the restrictions, it all goes down.
Yeah.
And all the money investment, and since we are from different countries, the logistical part, from shipping Thomas to Australia, and Jocelyn from Italy, and the drummer from Canada, and me from Portugal, it could be a big financially loss. Okay, so we're trying to address the situation the best as we can to deal with this pandemic state. I have really good expectations that since Omicron has hit at least Europe and the States, I don't know how in Australia it is currently, but I've read some news that you have the lockdowns, and there's some issues with people, like here in Europe, okay? But the thing is, we're trying to do live event, like a big concert, like in the stream format. Yeah, we're trying to do like a live in YouTube or something to promote a little bit of the album. Okay, so that's the project we are currently doing. Okay.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a weird spot here at the moment. So you can't have 500 people go watch a band in a venue, but you can have 35,000 people go to a tennis final. So yeah. we're in a kind of weird spot at the moment.
Yeah, it's completely insane here too, because, for example, like you said, okay, we have soccer balls here in Portugal, like full stadiums, like 1,000 people, and then they say to us, no, you can't do that metal show because, you can't have 1,000 people in open space. But why?
Yeah.
Stadiums have 1,000 people. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, Paolo, to finish up, I would love to see you in Melbourne one day do a show. That would be absolutely fantastic. But for now, what would you like to say to all of our listeners who are going to sit down and take a listen to your EP sometime soon?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would like, in the first place, I would like to thank you in the first place, like a big thank you for having me here, do the interview, and for all the listeners, I would like to thank them as well for listening to the show, and also for having to support and listen to Caedeous as well, It's really appreciated. The project currently needs a lot of support because it's starting again, and every single comment that you give, it can be negative, it's perfectly fine, but everything that you can give to Caedeous at the moment, it's really appreciated, So a big thank you, and metal on.